Hello again, everyone. This past week was loaded with some great matchups and competitive games across the state in both baseball and softball. Now we get to recap it all on another edition of Diamond Highlights and to get you caught up to speed on some of the standings as well in the Class A division. But let's start with Class B and a loaded tournament field at the Squirrel Softball East-West Invite at Central Cass, with games being played on the new turf at Cass Field and the new turf football field. Here's a glance back at some of the top games. Over on the football field, Heart River squared off with Northern Cass and runs were tough to come by. Jersey Filkowski gets enough power on this hit to drive it through the infield for the Cougars, but defense is what led the charge this afternoon. Cassie Podchek hoses her on the steal attempt, and we're tied at zeros after 4. That's a web gem. Abby Kessel had it going for Heart River in the circle. She looked calm and cool out there, but a miscue leads to damage. Northern Cass's Morgan Nelson trying to do anything to get a base runner. The throw bounces off her shoulder, and she advances all the way to third, and you get the feeling that the first run scored would end up winning this one. Emily Anderson steps up and delivers the deep sack fly that lands just inside the 10-yard line. Close game, but Northern Cass wins it 2-0, handing Heart River its first loss of the season.
Yeah, I saw her deep playing in third, and then I thought I should just lay a bunt down, and I went hard, and I made it.
It's been really big. We've played a lot of games this week. We got a lot of games in, so, coming to the end of the weekend, you're a little nervous about, hey, are we going to have enough gas, enough stamina? But they came out. The first game, Velva, we had a couple errors that lost us that game. Coming back today, come back against Mayville to play a really good game against a really good team also here. This last one, it was really nice for us. Big confidence boost.
The Lacs-Burlington and Kindred played one of the longest games of the season. It was remarkable. We picked things up in the 5th, Kindred trailing 6-3 when Corrali Schwartzwalter hits one to right field, and the outfielder has it pop out of her glove. 2 Vikings come across to score. Still in the 5th, the Vikings tie it. Christina Fryer pops it to about the same spot, but this time the second baseman can't handle it, and we're knotted at 6s. For a long time, after 12 combined runs were scored in the first 5 innings, it turns into a pitcher's duel for what seemed like pretty much the second game. The teams were rotating between 4 pitchers for the next 8, and yes, we go to the 13th inning, still tied at 6 apiece. In the 13th, with a runner on third, Erica Hermanson comes through with the game-winning ground rule double. It's Kindred's 5th game that they've lost in the final inning, and an emotional victory for the Lakers, again, in 13 innings.
I'm kind of shook because we basically played 2 games in one, and we still have another one to go, and all of our players are really tired. I don't know, I'm just really proud of my team and my girls, and I'm just really proud.
And that just kind of shows the grit that we have. Being able to finish a game like that and to come on top is even better. But we just worked our butts off, and this is what we trained for. This is what we practiced for. So it just feels really good to then get the victory out of it.
I had Central Cass and Thompson ranked 1 and 2 in the preseason. Those two followed the marathon game between Kindred and DLB. This one wouldn't take as long. In the top of the first, Mackenzie McKinnon takes one deep off the center field wall to score Josie Boer. Scott Kost happy to see the production. That's followed by a sacrifice fly from the other Boer, Lexi, to score Aubrey Lindstrom, and it's 2 Rip Squirrels after 1. In the 3rd inning now, it's a Boer again. Josie this time smacks it to right field, and the defender has all sorts of trouble with it. Josie is off to the races, and she's gunning for a home. The inside the Parker puts the Squirrels up 3, and they go on to win it 9-1. Now, over the course of the 2-day tournament, there were 14 matchups pitting East versus West. The East won 8 of those. It was a nice little primer to what we might see come state tournament time. At the Class A level, we had some inner-city rivalries taking center stage in the East and the West. Bismarck High and Bismarck Century have been the best in the West, and West Fargo and West Fargo Cheyenne have been rolling along in the East. The Demons and Patriots squared off in a doubleheader on Thursday last week. Bismarck freshman pitcher Logan Gromberg delivers the strikeout. Good start for her, but it wouldn't go that way the rest of the afternoon. The Demons score the opening run in the second. Peyton Gerving drops the bunt down. The throw to first is wild, and in comes the runner. Same inning, more Demon damage. Maddie Steckler smacks it to the outfield for a sacrifice fly to drive in Bree Madler for a 4-0 lead. Bismarck scored 6 in the inning. The Patriots get one back in the next half inning. The catcher can't hang on to it, allowing the Century runner from third to touch home. This game ended up going bananas. Century ended up winning 18-14. And then the Demons took game 2, 13-4. That's 49 combined runs in a doubleheader. No doubt these teams can certainly swing the sticks. Across the state, West Fargo and Cheyenne were the final two unbeatens left in conference play. West Fargo puts a runner in scoring position with one out in the first, but Cheyenne pitcher Maya Lambert gets out of the jam, finishing the inning with the strikeout. Her offense puts up a pair in the home half. 2 down, a bases loaded when Caitlin Seuss drives one to the outfield. It falls into the Bermuda Triangle out there. The first 2 runners score, but the third is tagged out at home. The Packer bats get going in the third. Tori Nichols-Kraft can mash the ball. She drills it down the left field line. West Fargo head coach Pat Johnson waves home Kaylee Leiter to cut the lead in half. Moments later, Michaela Johnson smacks it off the third baseman's glove. Nichols-Kraft makes it a 2-all game going to the bottom of the third. That's where Cheyenne takes the lead and never looks back. Sophomore Maddie Buchert at the dish, and she feasts on the 2-0 offering. Her first home run of the season makes it a 5-2 Cheyenne lead, and they win big, 14-4. The Packers rebounded well, though, in Game 2 for the 11-7 win. Here's a look at the updated standings in the EDC. Shanley and Cheyenne are tied at the top, but the Mustangs do have the advantage in the loss column. If the overall records and conference records look kind of funky to you, that's because if a team only plays a team once in the season, the game is worth 2 points or 2 wins in the case of these records. So still plenty to be decided. Cheyenne, Shanley, West Fargo, Valley City, and Fargo North are all pretty solid if you ask me. In the West, the 2 teams you just saw highlights of moments ago, Bismarck and Century, are the front runners, and they can really light up the scoreboard. Defending state champ Minot is lurking in 4th, and Legacy has improved as well. On the boys' side, a couple of EDC matchups highlighted our coverage. We had 3 teams still undefeated in conference play entering Tuesday night. Grand Forks Central and then West Fargo and West Fargo Cheyenne, who are squaring off against one another. The Packers have won 7 of the last 8 meetings in this rivalry, but Cheyenne has gotten off to a strong start with an experienced and talented group. Addison cranks this double to deep left center for the Packers in the opening inning, but the story of this game was pitching. Carter Dodd responds to strike out the side, stranding everyone. He had 7 strikeouts on the game. His counterpart, Braden Jacobson, worked out of jams all night. Bottom of the third, and he gets the ground ball for a 6-3 double play. The Packers are always fundamentally sound. In the bottom of the 5th, runners on 1st and 2nd. Jacobson gets another timely ground ball. The best pitchers know when to force double plays, right? In the bottom of the 6th, though, things fall apart for the Pack. The Mustangs score 4 runs off just 1 hit and go on to win a huge tilt in the EDC, 4-0.
Yeah, that was a pretty big win for us coming against West Fargo, the other side of town there. It's always good to win at home here, and it feels pretty good being able to shut down some of my friends and being able to hold it over their heads.
It puts a lot of confidence on us, knowing we can beat one of the top teams in the EDC. And I think from now on we just need to keep moving forward and beating the good teams.
We know that they're going to be one of the top teams in the EDC, so facing those guys, the better competition is going to be great for us. And beating them definitely puts us in the driver's seat where we want to be in the top of the EDC.
Fargo South trying to upset Grand Forks Central on the road. The Knights are top 5 in the state in both scoring offense and scoring defense. Bottom of the 1st, Parker Stroh singles back up the middle. That'll bring home Brandon Holt for a 1-0 lead on a chilly Tuesday afternoon. Bottom 5, Holt softly back to the pitcher Miles Olschmid, who has to rush the throw, and he can't connect with first baseman Dalton Rudnick. Will Eagleson makes it 2-0 home team. Bottom 6, play of the day. Hunter Bjorgi pops up to left, and watch left fielder Tanner Kirkaby make the diving catch for the Bruins. Boy, it doesn't get much prettier than that. But South needed offense, and the Bruins weren't getting it against Stroh, who goes all 7 for Central, surrendering just 3 hits and no runs as the home team wins it 2-0.
I really thought Parker Stroh did a really nice job throwing strikes for us today. It makes such a difference to get up there and get ahead in counts it keeps the hitters on their toes, and you know, our defense did a good job when they had to. They made the plays that they were supposed to make, and it helped out a lot today on a kind of a chilly day.
I think with us, it's just everything's working for us right now. We're playing good defense, our pitching's well, and on top of that, we've been hitting the ball really well. And just as a team, everyone's up together, everyone's being positive. I think that's been the biggest thing for us.
Here's a look at how those results affected the standings. Central now at 4-0 in conference play, with Cheyenne at 3-0. Those two play each other on Friday night at Kraft Field. That'll be a big one. Davies is a team that I had high on my preseason rankings. They were one of the last teams to take the field for the first time. Once they get up to speed, I think they'll be a contender. As for the West, it's been Dickinson and everybody else as far as the conference standings go. But I will say the Midgets played a pair of non-conference games against Century, and the Patriots swept those two contests. I think the West is going to be pretty darn competitive. All but two teams have a winning percentage above .400 right now. I still think Century is the best of the bunch, but Dickinson and Williston will definitely have a say in things when it comes to earning the regular season championship. That's a look at some of the happenings around the diamond this past week. I know we didn't chat much about Class B this week, but that's where the spotlight is headed next week for Class B baseball. We'll chat with you then. Thanks for watching the Diamond Highlights. I'm Jody Norstedt.